Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
I'm Todd Pleasant.
And I'm Brian Mix.
Our man in the field, Brian Mix, reporting from SanDiego Comic Con.
Yes.
Or at least freshly back from SanDiego.
Freshly back.
Really,
like,
yeah.
Not even 24 hours.
That's right. Back yesterday.
So, yeah. So we spare no expense. We sent Brian on his own dime to SanDiego Comic Con.
That's right. So
with absolutely no expenses, and he's going to report. So our pal Brian was out there and sending us plenty of stuff over the weekend and over the week, right? This thing started like Wednesday.
It starts Wednesday night. We didn't get there till Thursday, but it's 4.5 days.
So we're like, hey, if you get back and you're not jet lagged, please come on. And honestly, it's not for you, the listening audience. It's more for the three of us because we want to hear everything Brian did and saw.
I mean, Brian started reporting. Brian was reporting from Disneyland before he even got to Comic-Con.
That's true. That's where you were. I knew you were. It seemed like you were reporting for quite some time.
Yeah, we went to Disneyland. We can touch on that later, but it was Comic-Con without stars, so it was very interesting.
This is the first.
Yeah.
Is this the first Comic-Con that you weren't living in California? Or was that one?
No, because last year we were moving during Comic-Con. So yes, the first one. Actually, last year was the first one I've missed in like 30 in a row.
Wow.
And then this one was no stars, which made it simultaneously less crowded and more crowded. You could walk into any panel. It was like a throwback. There weren't mile-long lines to get into the panels.
Oh, that's funny.
None of the studios had big panels. Yeah.
No, so you could walk right in. But the dealer's room was packed because all those people who were in line were in the dealer's room.
Brian, were there people doing signings or just nothing?
Yes. Let me see. I took some pictures. So here's the people I saw signing.
Just so you know, we'll post some of these somewhere and we'll let you know where they are.
Yeah.
Well, this will give you an idea. The actors from Owl House Animation were signing. The only actors I saw, because apparently if you have an animation contract, it's not the same.
Okay.
Animation writers are not, and this goes all the way back to Walt Disney. Animation writers are not under the same guild as live action writers. And Walt Disney did that to them all the way back in the day.
I cannot imagine that, that was...
Because he wanted to have control over them.
Of course he did.
All this time, they've never been able to... And so animation writers are not on strike, but they also... I was listening to a writer talk about this literally earlier today on a podcast. He was saying that when he writes an episode of animation, he gets about $10,000 to $12,000 for an episode. And if he writes an episode of live action, he gets $30,000 to $40,000.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's the same work. I put in the same effort, same job, but animation gets that much less.
Yeah.
So one actor I saw was Becca Pruitt. Becca Pruitt from Resident Evil. She was a monster. There was no one at her table. All these autographs will walk right up anytime. And
Ryan, that's kind of a judgy thing to say. I think she could be a nice person. You know, you just...
I'm sure she's great. She was yelling at somebody on the phone when I walked by. Probably her agent. We were poking her there.
I wonder if she was yelling at Felix Sela, because he always seemed like he was an angry guy.
That's right.
We haven't done a Felix Sela joke in years, Dave. I felt
we haven't seen him in a while. Where's that guy?
And here's your guy's future. Ming Chen, the podcaster, was signing.
We know Ming.
Ming follows us. Ming's a good
Ming
man.
was signing.
I got to say, Ming, and I follow him on Instagram. He does con after con after con, and good for him. I mean, you know, he's got some notoriety, and they want him at cons, and he's like all over the place.
So I was reading a little bit, and I do wonder how this is going to affect things like Rhode Island and some of the other conventions. But there are like guidelines that keep changing every week about what actors are allowed to do at cons and what they're allowed to promote. And some of them, I'm hearing you might only be able to bring your own items to get signed, because like a lot of the headshots that they sign are provided by the studios, and they have
interesting
like branding on them, and they're allowed to be out and about, but they're not allowed to be promoting anything that they're involved in.
Even if it's in the past, or
that's what I was going to say. It might be that if it's in the past, it might be okay. But like if you're in a
then
current
we're okay
show,
with Rhode Island Comic Con.
Yeah, no,
90% of the stuff is in the past.
I mean, William Shatner didn't show up. I mean, he only talks about the past. right?
Yeah.
Whoa, seriously?
Yeah.
Was he supposed to be there?
Yes, they booked him for an hour with Call Me Bill.
Well, people are doing it in solidarity too.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't want to be. Yeah, you can go, but you want to be the guy that crossed the line.
Well, and what's interesting though is like when he does that, my guess is, and I don't know this, my guess is he doesn't get paid for that. When you go to cons as a signer, you're getting paid. So maybe he felt like he didn't need to be there because he wasn't getting paid anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
I also suspect though that you get to a certain point and you're like the bad PR from this would be because you know that everybody would be interviewing about why he's not
And SanDiego is so visible. And
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's like
center stage
if you end up being the one person who's there, that's
So I'm curious. I'm looking at the Rhode Island Con. I don't know if anyone, but there's people like these kids that are in Lois and Superman and Lois, and that's current. You got Mandalorian people. Who knows?
Yeah,
I wonder if they're going to bail out on this.
I think they're all going to bail out unless they settle this thing by November.
That or they're going to sign, but they're not going to be signing. Maybe they're not going to be signing. Well, maybe they won't do panels where they talk about their current show that they're on.
Yep.
Or B, maybe they'll be. You got to bring your own item to get signed. They may not provide.
One of the on that same point that Barry was making, one of the panels we went to was the new Babylon 5 movie, the animated feature.
Yep.
J. Michael Straczynski was there. But he, again, animation contract.
Right.
So
yes.
it's different.
Well, that's why Kevin Smith said he was able to talk about the Masters of the Universe show on a panel because it's animation and it's under a different guild. But he didn't do any other panels.
Interesting.
Did
you see the Babylon 5 panel?
I did. I'll get there.
Good.
Trek Ticonderoga is coming up in 3 weeks. That's the little convention that happens at upstate New York. They're taking $500 a pop for Frakes to do a tour. What if Frakes doesn't show up?
Yeah.
He hasn't got a lot else to do, though. You think about it.
He's a director.
He's not directing. He's not acting. Right?
Interesting.
So, I don't think that's a promotion.
I mean, giving a tour is definitely not acting.
And it's not promoting a current show.
Not promoting current. I mean, he was never in the original series.
But it's very Trek adjacent, and But here's the thing: it's so off the grid and so not visible that I wonder if you just get away.
I don't know.
That's the thing, but it's more about what you feel inside in terms of doing it.
So, Brian,
but anyway,
were you thinking of paying the $500 so you could correct him on everything that he gets wrong?
No. I would. I'm probably going to go just to go because it's $80 to go if you don't sign up for any of these fancy tours just to see what happens. I've got a hotel room, so why not check it out?
What's the date?
Ticonderoga, August 18, 19.
Okay.
I might do that.
Plans later. Okay. Do we have any random we actually want to do, or we want to jump right into this?
I had a random. Do you guys have random?
I have a couple useless ones.
I have a whole page of random stuff.
Well, your whole thing is you.
My whole thing.
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
You guys go ahead.
Any non-SanDiego Comic Con random?
Not for me.
Huh?
No. Okay. Just going to say the FX Alien series is actually in production in Thailand.
With non-SAG actors.
Which is really interesting. And there are several SAG actors in this thing. But I imagine that they've got to have a lot of stuff that they can do, production-wise and whatnot. But I just find that
Does
really,
that
really
make this guy kind of a scumbag, though? I mean...
I think it's more a matter of, they've probably got
That's a question. I'm not
They've probably got a window that they can work in there, and they're trying to get as much as they can done possible. I mean...
yeah, I read that. That's interesting.
The really curious thing is the setting of this thing. This thing happens in this century. So it's pre-Alien.
Oh,
so
interesting.
And it's on Earth. So very curious. I didn't think this would actually happen. I like Noah Hawley. I like a lot of what he's done. Be interested to see what he does with this.
I like a lot of what he's done, but it's all been very, very out there. I'm hoping that this, given what it is, reins that in a little bit because I don't know.
What did he do? District 9? Was that him or is that no?
No,
I just don't think Legion set in the Alien universe is going to be good.
No, but it's not. But he also did Fargo, which was just awesome. And Fargo was every season they shuffled the deck, and you saw a completely different story with different characters, but every single one intersected in a really cool way. He's a bright guy, and I think he knows how to read the room. He knows the audience that this is going for. So Legion is marvelously broken. It's just it's great. But it also doesn't. I don't think it doesn't bleed over into his other work. So, no.
All right, I go in for Barry. Batman Forever director's cut may be coming.
Let's hope.
I know how much you love a director's cut.
I do love a director's cut, and honestly, there's been a lot of talk about that version because Kevin Smith got a hold of it and he screened it at his movie theater for people. And they're saying it is much better, but much better for such a bad movie. I can't imagine it makes it good.
Yeah, I know.
Doesn't mean it's not better, but it probably isn't good.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get a Batman and Robin director's cut, too. I'd like to see.
I will say, I think Batman Forever is nowhere near as bad as Batman and Robin. I don't even see the putting the effort into making another pass at that.
Which is the one with Mr. Freeze? I get them confused.
That's the Batman
and Robin. And that's what I'm saying. Batman
that's
Forever,
the worst one.
Which
Batman
is the
Forever
one, the other one?
some-
Which is Jim Carrey in?
Batman Forever.
That's what I'm saying.
Blend together.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones, Jim Carrey. It's that there's just bad choices made in that movie. I don't know whether you can fix that with a director's cut. I think everybody,
especially since the director is no longer with us, it's hard to do that.
That's what I'm saying. And I think every person down the line is miscast in that film. You can't fix that with a director's cut. Well, I guess you can now, but it's
We'll see. So anyway, Barry, did you have anything?
Nothing that's not sort of Comic-Con adjacent, so I'll just hold mine until we get to it.
Okay. You know who's awesome too? Fanboy Collectibles, check them out. Speaking of Batman, there is a Mars Toys Enigma villain figure.
Yes.
Which is the Riddler. Looks awesome. The Frank Gorshin Riddler, sort of. Unlicensed, I guess, but that looks awesome.
With
two costumes,
two different outfits.
Yeah. Yep, he's got the jacket and the whatever you call that,
and
other
the leotard.
Leotard. I love the jacket outfit. I think that would look awesome. And
I did see that when I was at that thing. I told you the question marks were drawn on with a magic marker, basically. Also, Exo6 Kira. Hold your comments, Todd. Joe Colton statue for you, Barry. I know you were looking at that.
I already placed my order.
There you go. There's a bunch of statues. A Gentle Giant Luke training statue that looks cool. There's Pops and Sideshow and Hot Toys and probably everything we're going to hear about from Comic-Con is going to be coming up in the next year. So keep your eye on Fanboy Collectibles.
They've even got a Bon Scott from AC/DC Funko Pop.
I saw that. Yeah, tons of Pops. Check those guys out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut, and tell them the regular Joe sent you.
Can we just talk for a second before we get into Brian's stuff about that G.I. Joe statue? Because there's been a lot of licensed G.I. Joe stuff over the last 15 years, but we've never seen an Adventure Team statue before. Like, this is the first time I think we've ever seen it.
It is.
With flocked hair, no less, which is a little weird for a statue.
But it's got the motor and the pontoons from the pontoon boat from Pygmy Gorillas. I mean, it's... Somebody actually put a little effort into this thing, which
there's no question that somebody's a fan.
Yes,
but yeah, no, that's great.
I mean, the fact that they're calling it Joe Colton and not calling it either the Commander or the Land Adventure is a little weird. But
yeah, that is weird. Maybe they can only get that license and not the
when
other
you have
license.
A child named Joseph Colton, you have to order one. So I ordered one.
It looks cool though.
It does look cool.
It's if they made in the 70s, they made an Adventure Team model. That's what it would look like.
Totally.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like the $6 Million Man models and stuff like that.
But what made me the most happy about it, and I know Todd, you'll appreciate this, just in that main photo they have of it with the pontoon sticking up, it's got the hole on the top that the pontoon had on the toy. That shouldn't be there if it was
it should not.
But it's so cool that they included it.
Right. The other thing that I thought was really, really cool was the medallion. So
I ordered one. I will do a full review of it when it becomes available.
I may need this too. Damn.
And it's not expensive, right? I mean, I think
No,
it's
it's not.
$60. It's
And
really,
these things are well done.
Yeah.
And I love the flocking aspect. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought we should spend a minute on that since that is the origin of our friendship is over the Adventure Team G.I. Joe.
How cool would it be if they did a series of these? You know, just like Mike Power.
Who's the company?
It's Diamond Select.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Never know. Cool. Okay, Brian.
Okay.
What do you got? Take us at your own discretion. What do you want
I've
to
got
talk
a lot of stuff here.
We want to live vicariously through your experience.
I'm gonna go in the order I saw stuff rather than what I thought was great. Just to kind of give you a mix that order the stuff came up in. One of the first things, one of the best things was Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, the previs panel.
Oh.
So did they show you all the unaltered footage?
No, this is previs. So there was no footage at all. Well,
so
it
not
looked like footage.
It's not the pre-de-aging. It's the pre-viz before they even made the movie.
Yeah, it's all the action scenes. And the stuff they did was they took a Google Maps satellite view of India, picked the roads they wanted to drive on, mapped them, and then so they did the entire chase from a top-down view first, and then they previs the whole thing. And it could be the feature. The previs is so good looking. It's so well rendered. You look at that and go, oh, that's why the people were worried about AI, because it was really looking good. In fact, they said they intentionally cartooned it so executives wouldn't think it was final.
Oh,
because they'd always get mad. Is this final? I didn't approve this. You went to final before I approved this? No, it's not final. So they purposely cartooned it so the executives wouldn't think it was
So this
final.
was a special effects team doing the panel?
They previs the entire tut-tut chase in India.
I wonder if the strikes weren't happening. Would that panel have been what they did?
Yeah, it is, because they do those panels. Those are the panels I go to. We go to the costuming panels, the previs panels, the art director panels. Those are the good ones because those are the people that work on them. Actors don't know anything, right? They just look pretty and say words. So it was really cool to see them. The funny part was they previs the entire thing for India, and then India had a COVID hit, and they had to read the whole thing for Sri Lanka. They redid the entire thing the second time for Sri Lanka.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
And so you had the entire chase scene rendered in cartoon, and they just went back and shot it and dropped the shot pieces in. They did go back and shoot close-ups in a couple of places after the first cut as a reshoot kind of thing on a green screen. And they'd driven through the route with motorcycles with these cameras that shoot a complete bubble of the room of the street. So they drove down those streets very fast on motorcycles to get the background plates for any of the close-up shots they wanted.
That's like the Google Street View camera type thing?
Right.
Yeah,
But very high end.
You really didn't notice that at all. I mean, if it was a background plate.
I want to see it again and look at the close-ups of their faces and see if I can spot it. Now that I saw this panel, I want to go back and look at a couple things to see if I can spot things. But that was a really cool panel.
That's cool.
There's a documentary called 1982, The Greatest Geek Year Ever.
I heard about that, yes.
I was a Kickstarter sponsor of it, and it's the movies that came out in 1982 were stunning. You guys were probably around then too. Remember, E.T., Blade Runner, Wrath of Khan. It goes on and on and on. All the great movies came out that year. So they go into depth with the people who made them and why 1982 was the year. That was a good panel. Followed immediately by the Free Enterprise panel. The guys who made Free Enterprise are trying to get the rights back so they can release an HD version. That's one of those that's one of those movies where the rights got split up, right? So they've got to get enough of them back.
Oh yeah, yep.
I already own 2 copies of that on probably DVD. I have the regular copy, and then I have the director's cut extended copy. I love that.
Of course
movie.
you do. Of course you
love that. I love that movie.
Is it on? I haven't seen that in a while.
It's not on streaming. You have to buy a used DVD because it's not available on DVD anymore either.
I just love the scene where he's a little boy and he's leaning up against a tree, and he just got in a fight, and Shatner appears to him, and Shatner's talking to him, and he's like, "What was this fight about, anyway?" He's like, "That guy said Han Solo could kick Captain Kirk's ass," and Shatner goes, get back in there and kick his ass.
They tell the story when they wrote the original screenplay. The entire thing was like that. Shatner was a godlike character who came down and talked to them and guided them through life. Like Play It Again, Sam. Yep. He was this character that guided them through their lives. And Shatner said, "I'm not going to do it. I'm not a god. I'm not going to do it. I'm a real person with real problems. Write something about a real person with real problems, and maybe I'll do it." And they rewrote it in 10 days, showed it to him again, and he did it.
Yeah, and they turned Shatner into somebody who just wanted to get his Shakespeare rap movie made.
Right.
I do love that.
You do as like seriously.
Yeah, it's and they talked a little bit about the sequel they tried to make too, which got written and cast and was days from shooting, and the financing fell through.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's funny. There's a show on something like Stars or something called Free Enterprise, and every time I see it as I'm scrolling by, I'm like, "Oh, I'll stop and watch this." And it's not that.
Something else. Yeah.
It's something else. It's like a half-hour series or something.
So they have some funny stories about that, and hopefully they'll get the rights back and can do this in HD. At the end of that first day, I went to a Remembering Greg Bear panel. Greg Bear passed away recently, the writer, the second wave of great science fiction writers. I knew him well when we lived in San Diego, and it was great to see a few people there and talk about Greg. The next day, we went to the Good Omens panel. They showed the first episode of second season at the panel because there were no stars there. They haven't missed a beat. If you like Good Omens 1, Good Omens 2, every bit is good. Oh, see it.
It's great, but the really cool thing about this is season 1 very faithfully followed the book.
There was no second book.
That's what I'm saying, to the end. Okay? Yeah. So you have seen the whole story that exists as it is, but you leave 2 really freaking incredible characters on the board that they can now do anything they want with, which is great.
I highly recommend it. You find it and watch it. It's really good. It's let's see. Went to a Galaxy's Edge panel. I kind of got rooked into it. It was like a Fantasies at Disneyland and Star Wars panel. It was a bunch of guys complaining that Galaxy's Edge was being canceled. They really made a great case for how wonderful it was. I probably still wouldn't go. Maybe if it was less money. But
wait, what?
Wait! You don't mean Galaxy's Edge? You mean the Galactic Star Cruiser?
I mean the Galactic Star Cruiser. I'm sorry.
I was going to say
we were just
they teased it as a Galaxy's Edge panel, but it turned right into a Galactic Star Cruiser panel. You're right. I'm sorry, I misspoke.
Oh, that's okay. I was just going to say, wait a minute. What happened? How did Galaxy's Edge get canceled?
No. It's the Star Cruiser.
I wish it was a panel talking about how they're going to incorporate
Avatar now. They're tearing out the stuff.
Yeah, it's all going to be Avatar.
They're just making Pandora even bigger.
I just wish that they would make Star Wars Land more Star Warsy, but that's just me.
Yeah. That's marketing decision. And of course the Captain Action panel, which I was very happy to go to because Captain Action is one of my favorite figures from back in the day. The people on the panel almost outnumbered the people in the audience. It was at 8:00 at night, and it was very lightly attended. Yeah, but the people that are doing it are super passionate about it. And
this will be the 4th incarnation of Captain Action.
Well, the guy that owns it is tenacious, and they're updating it. They're updating quite a bit, and they're talking about action packs and licensing for superhero costumes. It'll be interesting because there's lots of 1/6 figure licenses, but there probably aren't very many 1/6 figure costume licenses.
But round 2 was it? Round 2 just did it. It's not that long ago.
Well, it was Playing Mantis had it after the original,
and then round 2. I still have
which is a model
4
company
costumes up in the attic from them.
Yep, me too.
I mean, I'm glad it exists and I'm glad they're doing it. I just really question whether there's a big enough market for it to be successful.
Yeah, they have a screenplay, right? They're going to try to get a movie made around it, around Captain Action, and anything they can do to get the buzz going about this action figure.
When I kind of always wondered why they didn't try making a go of Captain Action as a character, as opposed to
he had a comic book.
That's what I'm saying. Terrible. Which was no, but I'm saying it's like go, make him some kind of adventurer.
That's what this movie is going to be. I talked to the guy that wrote it, and he said, it's spy-fi.
as opposed to the guy who invented cosplay. Okay. I mean, it's just, it's
I wonder especially even given all the, how they do the masks in Mission Impossible, like if you couldn't spin it more that he's on a mission, but he needs to use some of these other.
I suspect that's
disguises.
where he's going. They're updating it in that it's your classic young guy finds out his father was a super spy, but he never knew, and now they want him to be a super spy, and Captain Action's the code name, and that's.
It'd be cool, but that's how it doesn't tie into the superheroes. I mean, that's what sells things. And again, in the 60s, it was a different story.
Right.
Now you can get a Captain America action figure. You don't need to have one dress up like one.
That's right.
That's
right. Yeah. I hope they can get it done. I have my doubts as well.
Did they show any of the potential? Like, do they have any costumes lined up that they could show, or is it just the basic figures?
They showed a Rocketeer, comic book Rocketeer, which they have been teasing for a couple of years and waiting for them to do that.
Oh, so that's what that was from. I saw those pictures. Okay.
Yeah. They did. They have the Rocketeer and they have a Mars Attacks alien.
Well, Barry's all over that one.
Oh yeah.
So I like the Rocketeer. I would totally buy a comic based Rocketeer to put next to my movie Rocketeer.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're very different. They're similar in a lot of ways, but different characters.
Right.
I almost rather see like the way you described it. So he has a bunch of different things that he can dress up as other stuff. I don't need to see him as superheroes. I mean, that was a good concept back then, but
I'll be honest with you, I looked at I looked at the pictures of the figures, and okay, when you guys looked at the picture, not Brian, you looked at the picture of the figures, what came to mind?
Captain Pike.
No, I thought Max Steel.
Max Steel, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He had that gray hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he did have the Captain Pike pompadour.
Oh, he totally did.
But and the other thing, are they going to make these $200 Hot Toys type figures? They're going to have a big problem with that.
Yeah.
They didn't look that way.
They're talking about pre-order in Q4, so we'll know pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. And it sounds like it might not be superheroes, but there's already amazing $200 superhero figures on the market. Yeah. So, but the way that the cost of toys in general have gone up, I can't see this thing. And a basic figure can't be less than $50.
They're also battling with how to do a mask that doesn't make the head look too big.
Mm.
And there's not a lot of ways to pull that off, because
make his head look small.
That's what they got to do.
It's like Beetlejuice head.
I've got an unknown soldier figure that looks great with the wrap on it, the bandages. But when you pull the bandages off, and he's got his bloody burned head underneath, he's got a pinhead.
But here's what I would say to that. I mean, let's face it, kids aren't playing with these. I don't care whatever they would intend. So just make the head swappable, because the concept of the mask was great when you were a kid in the late 60s playing with these things, but now people are just going to display them on a shelf. Nobody's playing.
My suggestion was when you buy the figure, you get two heads: the normal head and the wears a mask head.
No, I was just thinking about something like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Make the head swappable so you can do different things with it. And it's like when Hasbro tried to make 12-inch X-Wing pilot figures, and the helmets had to be gigantic.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Hot Toys just figured it out with the Snowspeeder Luke that the helmet has to come off in pieces to make it fit right.
Well, hopefully they figure it out. I mean, it's funny. I've bought all the incarnations. I never opened a single one of the round 2 ones.
Right.
And Todd and I used the Praying Mantis ones extensively.
We use a lot of the stuff out of there.
Captain Action was one of our guys in our cartoon series.
He was in our comic, but we also liberally borrowed pieces from those sets.
Yeah.
So I think
Dr. Evil.
Ming the Merciless had a bathrobe that we reused a bunch of times.
Dr. Evil was always the bad guy.
Dr. Evil was always it's like
he's evil. He's not a genius.
So the new Dr. Evil, his brain comes out of his head, and his eyeballs come with it, and the brain has legs.
Oh,
wow.
That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. He does. I gotta say, he looks kind of badass compared to the old Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
Who just
Do you remember even there was a company a couple years ago when we went to New York Comic Con that did like scaled, like 8-inch scale Captain Action and Dr. Evil, and I got they were exclusive for New York Comic Con, and I remember buying them. But that also went nowhere.
do you still have them?
I think I sold them years ago.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people. Maybe it's the same guys. Everyone's trying to jump in on this.
It's like Action Jackson. It's another one that people have tried to bring back, and it's just never really worked.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brian, tell us more about Comic-Con.
So, the Star Trek Brave New Worlds panel, I was not able to attend. I was talking to my buddy Mark.
Strange New Worlds?
Strange New Worlds. Brave New Worlds. Strange New Worlds.
Strange New Worlds.
Again, no actors showed up, so instead they showed the crossover episode, which I guess dropped today.
They actually dropped it
yesterday.
over the weekend.
Oh, they probably dropped it as they showed it.
They dropped it Saturday, I think.
Oh, yep, they dropped it as they showed it at Comic-Con. Okay.
Because they probably knew it would be bootlegged anyway. So,
and they also, I guess, showed a preview of the next episode, which is the musical episode.
Yeah. So this was my random stuff. So once you hit Star Trek, I want it. So yes, the Lower Deck crossover with Strange New Worlds is out. You can watch it now. I'm assuming that's this week's episode. So I've already seen it.
No, there's another episode Thursday.
There is?
It's probably the musical episode.
They lopped one off the end, so the run is now 1 week shorter because we got two episodes.
Okay, all right.
Well, they knew it was going to be completely spoiled. They knew people were going to videotape it. It was a really smart decision.
So then the next episode, episode 9, is Subspace Rhapsody, which is the musical episode. Which I guess I remembered hearing about it in the off season that they were doing a musical, and I had totally forgotten about it. And I watched the little teaser they put out, and I got to be honest, I'm a little nervous about this one.
I think this whole season has been, the shows have felt like the shows you do in season 4 of a 25 episode show.
Oh, I disagree.
Yeah.
I think
focusing on individual characters, and it's like Star Trek is the captain of his starship going out and meeting new life and new civilizations and boldly going,
and we've got 800 episodes of that. I love that we actually know who these characters are.
I've been liking it.
I like it. I just want some more Pike stuff, please. Come on.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, I think it's because we know who Pike is, and I'll say we don't have to go too far down this, but I love the episode where we get kind of insights into Ortegas and how she thinks, and the I fly the ship. It was like, that was great. And it's like, I said I'll say to you guys or to just Barry, but we don't know who the people on Discovery are. Okay.
Yeah,
there's like 4 people there that we know who they are. Everybody else gets one line every 3 episodes. Okay.
And even the ones we do know, like Robot Girl and stuff, we don't know much about them.
But you don't know. It's like, okay, we've got 30 seconds of dialogue establishing their personal tragedy and their background that they need therapy for, and that's it. Okay,
but we're starting season 5, and Dave knows her as Robot Girl. We don't know her character name. I don't know it either.
It's not even Robot Girl because it's actually girl with the.
But that's my point.
Girl.
By season 5 of any other episode of Star Trek, you knew every character.
You knew every character's name.
Detmers. I do know Detmers.
But it's and this is the thing. But you know all these people, and which was perfect when like Bulmer went on board, okay, and he knew these people because he knew them. He knew their history, and it was like, and he goes by Ortegas and is like, "You're a war hero," It's like, it's just, it was.
Did you see it, Brian? Before Cal
spoils
it?
No.
Oh, you have.
Don't spoil it for him.
Okay,
so I'll just say this, Brian. I freaking loved that episode more than I did it deserve that I expected to. Probably more than I deserved to, but I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Okay, I'm going to spoil one thing for you. I am.
He loves spoiling things.
I love spoiling things. I think my favorite line in the whole thing is when they're examining his communicator and they say, "Oh, you just click on it to make it work." Pike has the greatest line. He says, "But flipping it open is the best part." I love it. It's like this. I have laughed out loud. I've seen this 3 times now. I have laughed out loud watching this episode more than any Star Trek I've ever seen.
Wow.
They just do a great job with it. And, if you were dreading this or whatever, just,
Why would you dread it?
Well, there were people online that were.
I'm
really
dreading the musical episode. I was not dreading this, although I knew I would like it because I like both shows. I did not. I went into it just wondering how are they going to make this work, and they made it work.
They've totally made it work.
Actually, made it work. Which
we're going to talk about Star Trek in another episode.
And we will. And okay. So here's just the way to frame it, and this gets back to what you're going to talk about. But this was the tribute to the 50th anniversary of animated Star Trek. Okay. This was taking animated Star Trek. Okay. And you'll and kind of saying, yeah, it's a thing, we recognize it. And
Brian, when you watch it, if you're like me and you normally hit the skip intro button, don't skip the intro.
Okay.
Don't skip the intro.
I don't skip the Star Trek intros.
No, and wait and make sure you watch through the very end. It's just.
But the thing that I thought I would never say about Star Trek is, can we have less Kirk? There's too much Kirk.
I gotta say, I don't mind this different Kirk, because I feel like this is a Kirk we've never seen before. This isn't, cocky. I'm 25 years old, but you should give me a starship anyways.
Kirk. Dave hasn't seen the last episode yet.
No, I know that. No, but what I'm saying is we've seen a couple samplings of them. I'm saying this is pro.
I don't think I agree. I don't think we need Kirk in this series. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they're going there. To be honest,
I'm just gonna. I don't. Dave, I hope this doesn't spoil anything for you, having not seen that last episode. But I almost texted you guys when I was watching it. It felt like the actor that was playing Kirk was doing a Jim Carrey impersonating William Shatner.
Oh, I didn't get that at all.
So Jim Carrey Kirk to me.
But it's weird. There's so much going on, and we saw the one with whatever Leon.
I liked that one when they went back.
I did, but it was okay.
So
but why did it have to be Kirk? Could have been anybody.
He is between assignments, and he just can't stay out of things because he's Kirk,
and he's a lieutenant. That's a little weird.
Well, no, he's a lieutenant. He's about to become a.
They explain it in the episode.
He's in between assignments.
There's a lot of great stuff going on, and we're leaning heavily into characters from TOS. Nurse Chapel, Jesus, she's had 10 times more screen time in a couple episodes than she's ever had in the show.
No issue with this whatsoever.
I don't either. But I don't
give her a spin-off.
I even like Sam Kirk. But
I think what they did with Sam Kirk is brilliant in that he kind of is a jerk in a whole lot of ways.
Yeah.
And they've made them very different people. And
but you need to see that episode, Dave, because there's a lot of
But I
just like when Spock yelled at him. But we'll save all this.
I love that he just antagonizes Spock on every single visceral level. I think that's just great. So.
All right, moving on.
Wait, before you move on. So the other thing that they announced was Lower Deck Season 3, September 7th.
4.
Oh, 4. Right. Season 4.
Okay. You see, and it's got the Voyage Home little
logo. Yeah. But it says with less whales or something like that, or no whales. And apparently that pin that we were texting about over the weekend, there was 3 or 4 different pins given out.
There's a bunch of pins. I saw a picture with a bunch of pins. There's the
recruitment poster pin.
That
one I really would have wanted.
Oh, yeah. I want the animated series pin.
They're not on eBay yet? I can't believe they're not on
eBay. I looked
yet.
on eBay when we were talking the other day. No one had it.
They are on eBay, but they're selling for $65 a pin.
That's crazy.
Here, I've got the picture of all the pins. I'm sending it to you guys.
So you got to the Strange New Worlds panel. Was it all wrapped up with Discovery and everything?
I did not go to the Star Trek panel. I missed the Star
Trek
panel. Right. I think all they did was show those 2 episodes, that episode and the teaser.
Well, and there's a teaser out for Discovery Season 5, right?
Who cares?
That was kind of where I was going. There is a teaser out, but it doesn't look very good.
Oh, there's the Lower Decks, the California class. Thing. That's cool.
I like the recruitment poster from the.
I do too. I like the
crossover.
I would actually get that as
I could do without Saru.
Yeah, I don't need the Saru one, and the other one I think that's from the animated series, right?
Yeah, what's this? What's this? Is there a bird on it or something? What is that? Sorry, people. We're just.
Looks kind of like a Minot.
We'll put this.
but
We'll put it
not.
on Instagram.
Oh no, that's from one of the episodes. That's like a dragon bird kind of thing. It's
That's you could have had the
gigantic
Celot
Spock?
on there. You could have had who's that cat lady? Emrys.
McCrest would have been great. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, lots of good Star Trek stuff. I'm a little dubious about this musical episode. I'm just going to say it
How
one more
bad
time.
could it be?
Okay, who's done a good musical episode?
Well, Buffy,
Nobody.
and that's it.
Buffy is the one.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, Xena was terrible.
And I've never watched Buffy, so I can't.
Me neither.
No, but Buffy is great. The Buffy one is terrific. And actually, if you watch it, it tells you everything you need to know about the series and all the characters.
I'm really worried about this.
But the
being
good thing is everything is its own episode, more or less, with some undertones. So it's not like, oh my God, not like it's going to be 5 episodes long of this crap.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Now
Moving
moving on. Babylon 5, the animated movie.
Yes.
The world premiere at Comic Con. If you love Babylon 5, you'll love this movie. Otherwise, you probably won't. The animation's a bit rough. It was, not a high budget animated film.
As was the special effects in the original series. So it's like you got to take it with a grain of salt. That's all.
So the animation's a little rough, but the story is great, and it's very much referential to the old show. And Jam just basically said, this guy's a love letter to the show and to the fans. That they didn't really get to wrap up the old show the way they wanted to wrap it up, and this kind of puts a bow on the whole thing. Yeah, it's really interesting.
So
it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
The
You
bizarre
saw
thing,
the whole you saw the whole thing?
The whole thing. He showed the whole thing. Yep.
Oh, okay.
So with the show, they got the plug pulled preemptively. So they wrapped up. They rushed to wrap up, and then they got another season.
Right.
So you get this final season that's kind of flailing around, and it's like a long, long goodbye when they've kind of already done that.
Yeah.
And so it's, yeah.
But the
Right.
big,
Can you watch the final scene from that show and not tear up? I still can't.
yeah.
Um,
Sleeping in Light, right? That's the last
yes.
episode.
And just when they go back 20 years later and just, it's, yeah.
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 It's and if you like that, you're gonna love this movie.
Great.
And the big announcement was near the end of the year, they're coming out with all 5 seasons in HD
Oh,
on
excellent.
Blu-ray.
Excellent.
Finally. But you couldn't talk about that.
There's
It's
an
hilarious.
amazing number of cast members from that show who have passed.
Yes.
Given the timing of that, if you compare that, I mean, it was contemporary with Deep Space Nine and Next Generation, but over half the cast are gone.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, they had to recast a bunch of the voices, and they were
Yep.
talking about the struggles with that. Yeah.
No.
Where's
It was good.
that thing going to show?
It's showing. Let's see. What did he say? It's only a few weeks away on some streaming service. I don't remember which one.
Okay.
But it's
I was at a Star Trek show, God, years ago, 20-something years ago, and I had like a 5-minute conversation with Patricia Tallman in line, who had white blonde hair, and I had no idea who she was, and like just having a conversation with this really attractive woman, and then realized what an idiot I was afterwards when I saw her in a panel. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to stuff I saw. I'm going to blow this company's name. De Novo Novo.
Oh, it's the new Anovos.
The new Novos. Yes.
Duo Novo or something.
It's
Yeah.
Duo Novo or something.
Do over a Novo.
Novos number 2. Deuce Novos is what they are. Had every helmet you can think of from Star Wars. All of them.
Like selling
trying
them
out
or pre-orders?
Pre-order.
Of course.
Yeah. The old
and
FX.
including a
FX.
X-Wing pilot's helmet that comes blank and ships with a whole bunch of sticker sets.
Ooh,
So you can design your own helmet.
that's kind of cool.
That was kind of cool.
It won't come out though.
Uh, they had all kinds of Mandalorians. They even had Jango Fett's jetpack, and not Jango Fett. They had the Boba Fett's backpack and the Mandalorian's backpack. The rocket jetpacks. Both the jetpacks were there. I'll get you guys the pictures, all the pictures I took of that booth. It was amazing booth.
They haven't really done much of anything since they took over the stuff, have they?
No. They've been fulfilling all of the Star Wars orders from the people that got screwed by Novos.
Yeah.
I saw they were selling like Luke's jacket and some things. Is that stuff they were sort of
stuff that was in the pipeline? That was really interesting because I got a Battlestar Galactica jacket that way. Stuff that was in the pipeline and made and like on a boat when they went under. Another guy bought them out, just bought everything from them on like I don't know if it was a fire sale or bankruptcy sale or what. So he had a pile of Luke jackets and a pile of Battlestar Galactica jackets, and he's been selling them on eBay, just to get rid of the stock.
Really?
Yeah.
What do those go for?
It was really reasonable. That was I'll say $300 for a Galactica jacket. Sizing was weird, but and they're good. They're not great. It's a good jacket. Let's see. The Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the Paramount exhibit was great. They had everybody's costume.
Yeah. So
and all
it
the
looked
props.
like it was similar to the one that we saw, Todd, in New York, but maybe they had some more stuff beyond what we saw.
They had both doctors, Nurse Chapel in the doctor's costume, they had the captain, Uhura, and the security officer, and number one, and they're all holding the real props. It was fun to look at. The Star Wars booth had an incredible Ahsoka display.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, they had a full size Ahsoka figure in a costume. Had her lightsabers on display. And strangely, her ship model. Yeah. So I'm not sure if it was really a ship model they used or just one they put on display, or that'll be interesting to see the background behind that. But yeah, I took a bunch of pictures of that.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did a model. I mean, they did the Razor Crest as an actual, model that they did real photography with versus it just being CG. So maybe they did hers too.
Maybe they did the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, even the Mandalorians, the N1 Starfighter, they made a model of that, and they've been using that for practical shots.
Maybe.
The Heritage auction was there with a display of amazing, tons of Lost in Space stuff. They had the Chariot was there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
A full-size Chariot?
No, not the full-size Chariot, the model Chariot that they're selling in their catalog. They had John Robinson's season 1 costume.
Did they have the Stormtrooper helmet and any of the Star Wars stuff?
Stormtrooper helmet was there.
That's the stuff in this upcoming auction.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the upcoming. That Stormtrooper helmet looked like it was painted with watercolors by a 5-year-old. It was really, really bad shape.
Well, the ones, I mean, that one's from A New Hope, and all the ones that survived from A New Hope are supposedly in really bad shape.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was fun. I talked to Brian. I can always remember his name because his name is Brian too. He used to be with at the LA company. I can't remember. Anyway, he's with Heritage now. Talking about the Greg Jean auction. They've got the Greg Jean auction.
Oh, Brian, the guy used to be with
Profiles in History. That's right.
Profiles in History. Well, they bought out. Heritage bought them out.
Yeah, and he works for them now.
Yeah.
He still works in LA. The Greg Jean auction is going to be in September. They're going to have a preview in catalogs in August. They'll have a preview the week before the auction. Unfortunately, it's in Texas.
Why would they do that?
Because that's where Heritage is.
Oh.
Right.
Did he give you any insights into what they have?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. He says it's going to be incredible. They have so much stuff. They're holding some back because you can't put 2 original series Klingon disruptors in the same auction. It was the example he left.
I'm surprised that they went with Heritage and not Prop Store.
But I know they said they've got all the models he worked on. They've got stuff from Buckaroo Banzai. They've got the Dark Star. I know he had pretty much every Star Trek costume. I mean, all of them.
And the original phasers and stuff,
and of course, the phaser communicators, 2 tricorders. Yeah, it's going to be incredible.
Wow. You know what the unfortunate part is, not to say it won't go for huge amounts of money, but 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it would have gone for even more. It feels like the buying audience for vintage original series Star Trek stuff isn't what it used to be.
Boy, I hope you're right.
Wants to be one of those people.
I would like to be one of those people.
Yeah.
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Let's see. Page 2. Factory Entertainment has gone all out. These guys are just gone. They
seem to have gotten licenses from stuff that they didn't have before too, right?
They had 350 scale starships there. The Refit Enterprise, the Excelsior, and the Enterprise D. And they're all 3.5 feet long.
No pricing, right?
Gorgeous. $15,000.
That's crazy.
So like the Innovo stuff was, right?
Yeah. They're beautiful. They're gorgeous models.
Well, they're paying professional model makers to make them as one-offs. They're not like coming out of a factory.
Well, what were those QMX ones? They were what?
That's what Todd was thinking of.
Yeah.
Those weren't 15,000. Those were way cheaper.
Well, way cheaper,
no,
being
they were
like
like
8 to 10,000.
Yeah, I was going to
Were
say
they that much?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Our Tomy one.
And
who got Tomy? Just me?
You and Todd.
I'm excited for that one.
Me too.
I hope it meets your expectations. I really do. And I'm not saying that because I don't think it will. I'm just saying that I really hope
was
it
pretty.
does.
You said it pretty dicky. So
He kind of did. I got to say that.
I'm
just
tired.
jealous.
I'm tired. I am a little jealous too. I would have bought one. I don't think I have space for it.
I don't have space for it.
I don't have space for it.
Oh, I knew I had a random. I totally forgot to write it. That reminded me. Let me just throw this in while we're talking about it. Do you know they may be discontinuing the Deltoffs?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I read that there's a new.
There's
case
a new
that
one.
they've
I
got as
watched
a
the
replacement.
IKEA Deltoffs or whatever the hell cases that everyone in the whole world and collecting world uses. There's talk of them replacing them with this other one, and a guy. There's a YouTube thing. Guy did a side by side. They're not as big.
Not as big.
Let me move my camera. I just got these at a whole bunch of these. These are awesome.
Oh, that's like the one Todd has.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that one, Todd.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, yeah.
That's what that is.
That's the black version of it. Yeah.
Yep. They're medical cabinets.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
No, that's what's designed. It's based on a Swiss medical instrument cabinet.
Oh, okay.
And that one too. You don't see those as often, but it's the same.
I have
design.
I got the same one.
Yeah, those are great. They're terrific. Yeah.
I'm filling my basement with them.
Yep.
Anyway, back to
Brian. I can show you how to make clips for the shelves. It's because the problem is you can't get the clips. If you want to add additional shelves.
Oh, if you want to add a shelf, yeah.
You're not going to believe what I made them out of, but it's yeah.
Factory Entertainment is also coming out with. We talked about this a little bit in real time. The 1966 Batman handcuffs radio, back row radio, which look cool, but I think they're a little undersized.
How
It says 1-to-1 scale in the case, but
they're up for pre-order already on a few sites.
I wonder if those were just prototypes that weren't full scale.
I'd say it's the size of my Logan's Run follower. The real follower is a little small.
Oh, then I would say the back row one I saw was about 80% that size.
Yeah.
And the Batman one was 75% the size of the one I have. I have a casting. It's supposedly be a casting off the original. And
I have one from Cy Young, not Cy Young. Someone sounds like Clint Young or something who was made him out of urethane. I've had it for years, but and I found the model of walkie-talkie and I made my own back row one, and it's.
Yeah, I think theirs might be lower. But again, so I got into a bit of a tiff with someone at the show about the Battlestar Galactica blaster that they're also doing, because it looked kind of soft to me, and they also are doing a Strange New Worlds phaser, which also looked not so great. And he's like, "Oh well, these are 3D printed prototypes." And it's like, why would you do that? Why would you put something in the case to say this is what you can buy that's inferior to what you're going to actually produce? Usually it's the other way around. Usually the prototype is better than what you're going to get.
Right.
Not worse. But no, they had to get them done for the show. Blah blah blah. It's like, no, that was a mistake.
And that I did see the Battlestar has lights and sound. Interesting to see. Did any of that stuff have prices?
No.
Todd, you said you saw some of those things on pre-order?
No, the Bat
Batman
stuff
stuff
is on pre-order.
Yeah, that too. Like, what did they charge them for that?
They weren't expensive. They were
like $65.
less than that.
I can't imagine that Battlestar blaster is going to be less than $300. I mean,
Well,
probably
that's
500, right?
Yeah.
Strange New World. I mean, Dave and I have been talking about there's a really good kit available, but like a finished prop version of that. Like, who was it that did the ones that, was it Anovos that did the ones that were like made for the
Discovery ones? They were $500.
Oh, those were Discovery. Right? They were $500.
And I've heard nothing but problems with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a guy, and I ordered it. There's a guy who 3D rendered, modeled them, and then they're being professionally printed, and then all the metal parts are being made out of aluminum. And then there's a separate guy, and then there's a separate guy who's doing electronics. So they're all in is like $4 and a quarter, which isn't bad.
And build it yourself.
Metal, huh?
And then you have to build it yourself.
Yeah, I actually enjoy doing that.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah. One of the cool things there that the Lego people did was they built a.
Oh, there's a cat. Is that a Flurkin or a cat?
It's a Flurkin. Yeah.
So is that Jonesy or Goose?
That's Wrigley. That's Wrigley. Our cats are all named after ballparks.
Oh, we have a. That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, it's a Flurkin.
Yep. We just added two named Rocket and Ripley.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Okay, you come on. No, I know. There you go. Lego. The entire Lego display was a Blockbuster video store.
Oh, I heard that.
So you walk in, it was all shelves like Blockbuster and cards like videotapes of all the kits they were selling.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really clever. Really, really clever.
It's good that Blockbuster lives on somewhere other than Captain Marvel. So yeah, that's good.
Oh, those things are $35, unless that's just a pre-order price.
Yeah, no, that's what they are.
Is that the selling price?
I think so.
How is the handcuffs the same amount as the Bat Radio?
Is the Bat Radio non-functional? I mean, is it?
It lights up,
yeah.
But it's not like a real walkie-talkie. Oh. So
no.
Got no guts in it, probably.
Yeah, and let's see. Have you heard of a company called LM Treasures?
No.
They're making full-size figures of all the Avengers, including the Hulk.
Life size?
Life size. They have
really?
the Hulk there. The Hulk was 1.5 people tall. It was gigantic.
Wow.
So they've got Iron Man, Thor. The Iron Man is Iron Man 85, full size. They've got I always forget the name of the character, the Iron Patriot. They have an Iron Patriot as well. And these were full-size figures, no prices, available for pre-order.
Did they give any sort of idea on prices?
No. I didn't stop and ask anyone. I just ran through and took pictures of them.
Did they look good?
I've seen fan-built ones that are better.
Okay.
But they look pretty good. I'll send you pictures of them.
Is it Hot Toys? Who makes them? Who makes the ones that Sideshow sells? I guess, is it Sideshow? Anyways, those are like $8,000. So, I know I've looked at.
You can get a life-size Boba Fett through Sideshow, but yeah, it's like $8,500 or something.
That's what I'm saying. Well, they've had 3 different Iron Man figures that I've looked at various times and said, no, I'm just not that crazy. But yep. I did look up shipping one time. It was $1,800. So,
I didn't buy that much at the show. It's the buy it online and eBay is pretty much ruined that show. There's nothing you can see at Comic-Con you can't find somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Except some art. I got a really cool Blade Runner alternate poster. was already framed, so I had to ship it from California to here.
Oh,
So
jeez.
it's going to get here on Thursday. It's not like the old days where you just throw it in the car and not worry about
Yeah.
it.
Did you go to the Hasbro booth at all?
I did walk through the Hasbro booth, yes.
Did you see the Ghost, the ship that they just put up in their HasLab crowdfunded thing?
If I did, I don't recall it.
So it's gigantic. It's the second largest thing I think they've ever made, other than the Jabba sail barge.
Yeah.
What is the ghost ship from? I'm not familiar
It's
with that.
from Rebels.
Oh, okay.
It's the ship from Rebels.
It should be in Ahsoka too, no?
It will be in Ahsoka. Yeah,
Yeah, that's why
I could
yeah.
have
I'm sure that's why they're selling it. It's that ship Todd's holding up there. Only it's action figure sized.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. So
I just didn't know what I was looking at. Yeah,
it's the crowdfunded thing. They need 8,000 backers. There's 44 days to go, and they have 7,702 backers already. So it's going to get funded.
Yeah.
Wow,
I would totally think that would go.
But this quick?
Yeah, it's going to get funded. I mean, it's
I know
it's
going to get funded, but I'm saying
it's 300 backers away from being funded, and then there's all these stretch goals.
Did you think it would happen this quick?
Yeah, it's amazing. Did you look at it? It's
I
unbelievable.
did. I'm
tempted to buy one, and I don't collect this stuff.
I thought it would go, but I didn't think it'd be that quick.
I was talking to Filoni yesterday. He said it gets blown up in the first episode.
Yeah, exactly. It looks amazing. I mean, we've got, from when my kids were younger, we've got the big Millennium Falcon that they made, and this looks like it's about that scale. And it's got a full interior. Every room is detailed. I mean, it's really amazing. They've got a video on their website. I knew it would get funded, but I didn't think it would be funded that fast. I mean, it's still got 44 days to go, and it's 300 people away from being backed. So,
and it's a good time. They release it a good time with all the hype from.
Yeah, and then with the show coming and in a month, and they're going to basically give you the whole crew over the period of like all those stretch goals. So as long as it gets pretty far into the stretch goals, you'll get the whole Ghost crew. But really, really cool. I mean, it's an expensive vehicle. It's $500, but the last time they released the Falcon, I think it was $400. So
they they do the Black Series as well, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
At the Star Wars, the store at the Star Tours store at Disneyland had a Black Series Darth Vader helmet on display.
Oh, cool.
It was good. It was good. I think their Mandalorian is better.
So the other thing that I heard they announced, or a couple things I heard they announced from Hasbro, and I just texted you guys pictures. They're doing a series of Christmas figures or holiday themed figures, which they've done a few of these types of things before, but this is the first time I think they've done one in Hanukkah colors, which just cracked me up.
None of these things make any sense.
No, they do not.
No, but I'll tell you, the Snowtrooper one with the snowman head with the carrot nose, I thought that looked really funny. And Boba Fett in Hanukkah colors, just like, I think I need that.
I like the little guy with
That
him.
makes perfect sense.
I buy it for the little guy that's with him.
Yeah, the little Babu freak.
The
Yeah.
little engineers, yeah.
And then they're doing a blacks or vintage collection Chewbacca in the red robe with the orb from the holiday special, which it's so weird. Like Lucasfilm disowns the holiday special, but every now and then they let merch slip out about the holiday special. So I don't know.
It's a cult. It's got a cult following because it's so bad and so hard to find, so hard to watch.
So the other thing that I heard was announced, and Brian, this may not have been something that hit your radar, but they dropped the trailer for Invincible Season 2. They announced November 3rd is the premiere. And then they dropped an hour-long episode, an Adam Eve special, which I haven't watched yet. I'm going to watch it tomorrow night with Joshua. But, it's great when they do this. Like, hey, you didn't even know something was coming, and here's an hour-long, special episode. So I'm looking forward to that because I absolutely love that show.
So, among the additional guest cast this year, the cast this year are Chloe Bennett, Calista Flockhart, Tatiana Maslany. It's just crazy. There's a Phil Lamar.
Yeah, they got at the end of the trailer, they listed like 20 names of people. Yeah, there they are.
Who are
all these people that are doing
just
voices.
added to the cast. And in addition, I mean, it's an amazing cast to begin with. It's Leah Thompson. Just wild, absolutely wild.
What show is this again, Barry?
It's called Invincible. It's based on a Robert Kirkman comic. That's my all-time favorite comic series.
Don't go online. Don't read anything about this. Just go on Amazon and start episode 1. Okay. You should not do. You don't need to know anything other than press play.
Right.
And
yeah, and there's going to be lots of time with no new shows to make up on these.
Right.
I've
read every issue of the comic book and every subset issues of all these little. Yep. I've read all of it, and the show did not disappoint. It was that good.
It's absolutely superb, and it's a lot of what you don't expect.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's so good. And if you don't know anything about it, that's probably a great way
That's
to go.
what I'm saying. No,
Yeah.
I got a couple people to go in totally blind this year and watch it, and they were like, after the first episode, they're like, holy shit. And then they were like, at the end, they really liked it, but it was just,
And Brian, it was funny because this is going back now probably 10 or 12 years ago. I had a vendor that I would deal with, and we would talk nerdy stuff all the time, and he would tell me about this comic book, and he's like, you need to read it, you need to read it. And I'm like, years out from having read any comics. I'm like, I don't read comics anymore. I hear you, you're telling me it's great. One day a package showed up at my office. He shipped me all of the hardcover. You have to read it. And I broke down, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever read.
Karen loved it, and she's reading all the stories. It's just great. She's got a Adam Eve sculpture on her desk. It's really, really good. So what he did in approaching this was he had been working in Marvel, had been doing a bunch of stuff. He wanted to start a superhero universe with a clean slate. Okay. So there are archetypes in there that you will recognize, but you don't have to know anything other than just start. And it's absolutely brilliant.
So Barry, I know I sent this to you in a text, but is this a deal?
Well, unfortunately, I think these days it is. So he's holding up a picture of a Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader carded. It was graded, right? It was what, an 85. I think the grade was on that picture you sent me.
Yeah, it's an 85. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's $2,500. If it were a Star Wars card, it'd be even more valuable than the Empire card. But yeah, those
stuff is going crazy.
They go crazy, Mike.
Why are you buying it? We won't.
No.
Daryl and I were texting.
Are you going to hold it up now? Yeah.
Daryl and I were texting over the weekend because in an upcoming auction, I think the next Hakes toy auction, they've got a prototype rocket firing Boba Fett figure. It's missing the rocket, and it was already up to $69,000 over the weekend with like a week to go or whatever. I mean, it's just insane.
Some kid choked on that rocket, so
that's right.
Yeah, that's why it's missing, because somebody swallowed
it right down the kid's throat.
Or took an eye out.
All right, Brian. Anything else you want to cover?
That is the end of my Comic Con report.
So, jam-packed. Thanks for sharing it, and we'll get pictures and we'll throw some up someplace. Check our Instagram. Check our website, regularjoes.com. Maybe they'll be up there. We don't usually put stuff there, but always links to the show there. Okay, let's go. What's in the box?
Saw you with the box. What was in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Brian, do you want to go first?
Okay. I did not get this at Comic Con. You may have seen this on my Facebook page if you have Facebook. I got this. Ugh.
Oh,
ooh!
It's an IG 1188.
I thought that was an espresso maker.
Take a picture. Yeah,
it's a casting of the Rolls-Royce engine, or
that jet engine. Yeah, it's one of Gordon's.
I was just going to ask if it was one of Gordon's. Yeah,
one of Gordon's. It's also what beer comes out of at the cantina.
At Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge. They're the same molds.
And I think they also have them in at the
downtown Scum and Villainy Cafe.
Scum and Villainy Cantina in LA. Yeah.
So he literally had a trunk full of them at R2LA.
Oh,
and it's like, I'm right here. I got to get one because I need one for my bar. I'm building my basement. And
nice.
Did they give you a problem putting that in the overhead rack?
That would fit though.
I know. That's exactly what I did. Was I went and like 2 different targets and found a duffel bag that would fit in, and just zipped it up in the duffel bag, and through the X-ray it saw nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
and then it stuck it in the overhead. Yep.
Now, are you going to chrome that or plate it, or are you just going to paint it, or what's your plan?
I'm going to paint it.
Okay.
As metallic as I can.
Nice.
And, yeah.
Oh,
The nice thing about those is that you can put all kinds of washes on them and filthy them up, and they look great.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right, Barry, what do you got?
I am not a beer drinker, but I've got 3 bottles of beer. I've got the Moving Pitchers Rush beer from Canada. I've got the Rush Golden Ale, imported from Canada. And I've got the Rush Signals beer from Canada. These are all from Henderson Brewery. Obviously, they're in conjunction with my all-time favorite band in the world, Rush. So I knew they had beer, and I needed to have them, even though I've been told by my friend who actually got these for me. And I think I told the story on the air months ago, but I drove up to a beer distributor about an hour and a half away from my house to get these back when I was picking my son up, bringing him home from college, and they were out of stock. So my friend went all the way up there on a weekend 2 weekends ago and found them. So
are they they're in the States, but only sort of north?
Though there's only a handful of distributors that carry them.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Scott said this one was the only one that actually tasted good. The other 2, not so much.
So you're leaving them in the bottle?
Well, he gave me 2 of each, so I've got 1 of each of them chilling in the fridge. I will try them, but I'm not expecting them.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even a beer drinker, and none of this stuff is gluten-free, but I'm going to, do what I have to do for my favorite band.
It's funny because I'm curious how long that just reminded me when I went to the Star Trek experience at the Hilton in Las Vegas. That's got to be 25 years ago. They had Romulan Ale that was a blue beer. I think I still have that in the bottle up in the attic.
Ooh,
I
God,
wonder
up in the attic.
I wonder if it's exploded.
It might. But anyway, so these are going to go on the shelf over by my music section in my basement.
Should get that on, put that on my bar with my Captain Kirk bourbon.
Yeah. All right, Dave.
Oh,
What's
me?
in the box?
Okay. This was it was in a bag, not a box. So a friend of mine went to Disney World this weekend, and she was staying at the Polynesian. And I'm like, go to the Polynesian, and you see anything Trader Sam's, get me something Trader Sam's. So she got me this Trader Sam's t-shirt that says Trader Sam's on the front, and it's got this sort of thing on the back, Trader Sam's.
Oh,
So,
very retro
nice.
looking.
Every time I've been there, all they've had is smalls. So
I looked all over Disneyland for a Trader Sam's t-shirt. There are none to be had in California.
thank you for looking.
Yeah, I looked.
But there, so I have a Trader Sam's shirt.
Oh.
It's actually nice material. I think it's all cotton. It's really soft because a lot of the Disney stuff has been very weird. It's all cotton, made in Nicaragua. So cool. So that's what I got. Todd, what's in the box?
Okay. So this is the Boss Man 2.0, not to be confused with any other character, living or dead. He looks strikingly like Vincent D'Onofrio, again, probably accidentally. Okay. As portraying Kingpin. Fantastic head sculpt. It's painted superbly. The eyes are great. It's, they got the plasticky, shiny eyes. Really, really well done. I had the Boss 1.0, I guess. The sculpt wasn't as impressive, but he was the same height as Daredevil. Okay. This figure towers over Daredevil, and it's great. He's wearing the outfit from Hawkeye, which was lifted directly from a Spider-Man comic, which is really, really kind of cool. And he's got the cane, and he's got the hat.
That's cool.
Just an awesome, really formidable looking figure. in a much better rendition of Kingpin.
And he scales better next to the Hot Toys Daredevil.
Yeah, he's a head taller than him, and he should be.
And he looks wide.
And he's wide, and it's perfect. I'll say the first one had a padded suit underneath, and you could make him stand like he was looking for a bus, or he looked like he was wearing a padded suit. There was no pose that you could put him in where he didn't look like he had a pillow under his shirt. And this thing is done really, really well. It's fitted really nicely, and they did just a great job with this thing. And it's relatively inexpensive because it's not a licensed figure, but it comes with 6 hands and a cool looking stand and whatnot. But like I said, I really can't on the camera to get this to do justice, but he's just great looking, and it just looks really, really good. One of the things I said like earlier is he's got all the dents in his head, and you can see the shave pattern on his head, which, like I said, is really, really intense, and just a great execution of a figure that they'll never make, and I was just glad to see they did that. So, yeah, very cool.
Cool.
And he is for sale on Fanboy Collectible.
There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Cool. Well, thank you, Brian, for reporting.
Okay, I got 2 stories I forgot to tell.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go.
One, if you can get to Disneyland in California, go see Rogers the Musical.
Oh, yes.
It's very good, very fun.
I hope they film it for Disney Plus. I really do.
I hope so. The couple of songs I recognized that were in one from Captain America when he's doing the Bond tour, and the one from not from Loki, from
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. The one from Hawkeye, the song from Hawkeye is there at the end, and Ant-Man is in the production even though he was not there in New York. It's very good. They go through his whole story, the whole thing in 35 minutes. And the other thing was, so my wife and I have Indiana Jones costumes. Well, we don't both do Indiana Jones. I have Indiana Jones. She has a Marion. So we would want to bring a costume to Comic-Con, but still just check our luggage, not check our luggage, but carry on only. So very carefully packed my Indiana Jones costume in my carry-on bag. Got the boots just wedged in there, and of course didn't bring the gun because that would be ridiculous. Wore the hat because you can't pack the hat. So wore the hat. Get through TCA, they pull my bag. It's like, okay, which happens to me all the time because I carry so much electronics. There's always something that doesn't look right. And the guy, I can see the X-ray, and all I see is a diagonal cylinder. Like, what the hell? And the guy opens it up. He's looking. He can't find it, and he looks at the X-ray again. And there's a steel sleeve in the handle of the whip.
Oh.
And he calls the supervisor over. It's like, it's a whip. Yeah, but it's got a steel handle in it. So she says, you can't take that on. She's like, you're either going to have to take it back to your car. It's like, I didn't drive. I Ubered. And he's like, well, you could check your bag. It's like, oh, man, I do not want to go all the way back out, check my bag, and come all the way back in again. So I said, keep it, take the whip.
Oh, no. You had to give the whip up.
I gave up the whip, yeah. So it wasn't a really expensive one. It was like the $80 one, the $90 one.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, okay, I'll buy one at Disneyland because they have the whole selection, the whole indie costume.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the whip at Disneyland is pathetic.
Oh yeah,
it's because it's made to give kids. And if you whip someone with it, it won't hurt.
Yeah,
so it's like a foam rod with a whip printed on it.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, it was terrible. So I just went whipless then. And no one noticed. No one noticed. So I'll have to find another whip. Anyway, don't try to take a good indie whip through.
You should have.
I think my handles. I think the handle in mine is
thing out of it and thrown the metal away. But
I guess I have only flown with it packed. I think, but I think it's wooden inside of mine.
Okay.
But
I didn't even think of it. And what's funny
is
I
wouldn't have thought of that.
The guy took it out and he put it on top of the X-ray machine, which means everybody else who's going through the rest of that day is like, why is there a whip on top of the X-ray machine?
Don't get out of line at the TSA.
So Brian, there's less metal in that than in the retractable handle in a carry-on bag.
Yeah, I know.
Or an umbrella.
I know. But
No, but I'm saying right, an umbrella. But I'm saying
Or
when
a
you pull up those
lightsaber that
handles
I've
on a
gotten
carry-on
through.
bag,
yeah,
there's
I
more
know.
metal in those
There
things.
was no arguing with them.
No, there is not.
It's like, nope, sorry, that's our decision. So, okay, keep it.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyways,
you don't
that
want
was-
to push it so far that you get kicked off the flight.
No.
Yeah, and I could have checked the bag, but we'd already been back and forth once with my wife's TSA pre-authorization, and it's like, no, I'm not going back again. So keep the whip.
Now you have a chance to get a David Morgan one.
That TSA guy went home and had a fun night that night.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, honey, look what I got.
That's funny. Okie doke. Well, thanks again. It's
Sure.
always good to talk to you. Good to.
You want to hear
look like
something
Harris.
crazy? I know we didn't even touch on this weekend, the movies that are out, box office and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Record setting, whatever. I didn't know any of that. We wanted to go see Oppenheimer. I literally couldn't get a ticket.
Really?
Oh,
we
really?
wanted to go either Saturday or Sunday, and there were literally no tickets.
Well, it is
Every
3 hours
showing-
long, so they can't show
That's
it
the
very
problem
often.
too. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But every showing was sold out in my
Did
theater.
you go see Barbie?
No, that would have been sold out too. I want to see both, but
I
I'll
do want
wait
to see
for it.
both. I'm really glad Oppenheimer's doing as well as it did. It's doing.
I'm waiting now.
Barbie
for
is
them
not
to
a
post-
surprise to me at all,
No.
but I thought this movie was going to get eclipsed.
I'm waiting for them to post the Friday showtimes because we're thinking maybe we'll go Friday night, but who knows?
There's
just-
been a marketing campaign that almost has guilted people into seeing that movie. You know,
But they've
It's
put
like-
there's got a lot of good press of them
Oh, it has,
together
yeah.
and blah blah blah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I just feel bad about The Flash and Indiana Jones and Mission Impossible, who are all really good movies and they should be doing better.
yes,
Yeah, it's funny how the strange competition between these two movies made them both just take off.
Yeah.
It's
Just the
that,
buzz
and
on
it was the
Barbieheimer.
buzz. But I'm also wondering whether we're coming into an era where people want films to be a standalone thing.
Now, I guarantee you there are marketing executives all across Hollywood trying to buddy up movies that can make funny names out of it right
They're
now.
going to be so stupid. The next
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
are going to be.
Oh,
so
yeah, they're going to
dumb.
try. They're going to try anything because they've only
Were
got
they
about
both
5 or
Warner
6 movies
Brothers?
left.
I don't even
for-
know.
no, two different studios.
Really? That's so funny. No, we'll see.
Anyway,
Okay, cool. Well, thank you, Brian. Next week we'll probably get into some TV. We used to do TV after TV after TV, and we haven't done it in a while, right?
Well, taking a
next
little
week
TV break.
We'll have at least a completed Marvel show to talk about, and a musical episode if Barry gets through it. Okay. I would actually say, Barry, you are like our music critic, so I think
no, I am, but that's why I'm so like apprehensive about this because musicals and Star Trek are like
Barry is to music as Todd is to comics. Barry likes everything.
that's right.
And Todd likes every comic.
well,
And
Mainly-
neither of those things are true. But
Barry, name me they are true. Name me a band that's popular that you don't like. And
Grateful
not,
Dead.
don't say,
I hate the Grateful
don't say-
Dead.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay. Something more mainstream than
But
that.
that's a pretty mainstream thing, and I.
But it's mainstream for lowlifes.
Yeah, I can't.
No
stand it.
offense.
They got one song on the radio ever. That's not a mainstream band.
No, but they sell out state. They were selling.
Well,
out
people, the
stadiums
same
anyway,
people
right?
are sleeping in the mud that were sleeping in the mud 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Chicago.
I like Chicago.
They're a great
I don't
band.
even know. I'm just Steely Dan.
how do you really not?
love
I mean,
Steely Dan.
How do you have an
You
opinion
love
one way or
Steely
another?
Dan. No
Yeah.
one likes Steely Dan.
That's
See?
not
Nothing
true.
wrong with Steely Dan.
Huh?
Nothing wrong with Steely.
I was just listening to them last night out in the yard when I was barbecuing.
Oh, really? Oh. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to name some, but I need you to. Name
I
some.
like. I have very very wide range of music that I'm into, but there are very little that I don't like. But
Damn Yankees.
What about Journey?
Everyone likes Journey.
I like Journey.
The movie Fanboys.
Yes.
You know, he says nothing in my van but Rush. It's
Yes.
supposed to be Journey. Journey wouldn't cooperate. Rush said we're on board, and they changed it to Rush. So it was
Oh,
supposed
good.
Rush
Rush
makes
is a
way
better
more
band.
sense than
It was supposed
Journey
to be
for
Journey. Yeah.
that. All right, I'll come up with something. Let's see what you don't like.
Well,
The Kinks. You like the Kinks, I'm
I do
sure.
like the Kinks. Yeah.
The Alarm.
Actually, I love The Alarm.
I like The Alarm too, but anyway,
Just
we'll
tell
figure
Maria,
something.
I saw them back in 1985 at Albany, and they did an amazing cover of "Won't Get Fooled Again" by The Who.
I saw that. Whatever, you know my story. Anyway, Todd's the same way with comics. Anyway, okay.
So Barry
name a
is the
comic.
music, as Todd is the comics, as Dave is the Tom Cruise films.
I don't like Far and Away.
Much.
I will terrible. In that
Much.
movie.
You can't name a bad Tom Cruise movie, and there's a handful. Cocktail,
Eyes Wide
Far
Shut.
and Away.
Far and Away.
I'm not sure you got Nicole Kidman naked in it, so it's
Days
not
of
so bad.
Thunder.
Days of Thunder's
Days of
watchable.
Thunder is a good movie.
Cocktail.
Booker.
War of the Worlds.
World Wars is great.
War of the
That was
World. Oh,
terrible.
no, it's not. It is
It's
terrible.
great. It's fun.
It's a great movie with a terrible ending.
Todd just wants to watch the really boring one that's on the channel that no one gets. Or is that one you didn't like?
I'm sorry. That is a, yeah.
Barry, here's a band. If you,
I'll give
Care
it-
Bears on Fire.
Never heard of Care Bears.
Never heard of them. Okay. They did a great song on closing credits on some movie called Barbie Eat a Sandwich, so I grabbed it.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Anyway, that's enough of our own personal infighting. We'll do more of that off the air.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.